The Dow is strongly overvalued based upon metrics. It still may go higher, but based upon historical metrics, the Dow is overvalued, and based upon historical metrics, you could argue that gold is significantly undervalued, making this a no-brainer trade, actually.
I'll tell you what, this virus that's going around right now has created a buzz, I think, where the little guy is getting back into the market. People are scared right now all of a sudden, and they're realizing that, hey, maybe I ought to think a little bit about protecting myself outside the dollar. And so 2020 is so far starting off to be very interesting and much more brisk in terms of interest level, in belief.
There is product, but the mints, I don't think, have run out of metal per se. They've just been inundated with a tremendous influx of demand, and certainly we're not ready for it, because prior to this, Chris, it's been the choir that's been purchasing, not the audience. And all of a sudden, the audience is running to the choir pit and jumping in with both feet. You know, it's too bad that it has to come under these circumstances, but yeah, it's 20 times what we normally do. Whether you're talking the mines, which are now shut down, or the refineries, which are shut down, you also have the main authorized primary distributors, 4 or 5 of them in the United States, that are working on 20, 30 times greater demand than we've seen in the past couple of years out of nowhere. When they saw 35% of their retirement vaporize in 2 weeks and all of the chaos around us, people are getting nervous. You're seeing huge money, people who have never ever bought gold and silver before, who are now jumping in with $1 million orders like it's no big deal. I've never seen this before in a market where product is becoming harder and harder and harder and harder to get.
It's not justified that a stock market is rising to where this was before it all started, when tens of millions of people are unemployed and businesses are shuttered.
Most of what we're seeing in terms of the economic backdrop is make-believe. It's completely disconnected from Main Street. The big money is showing what they're doing. They're requesting delivery. They're taking it off the exchange. It's been the craziest year that I can ever remember. You know, people have their own words for what 2020 has been. To me, it's been a great awakening. It's been the year of the great awakening. And the amount of demand in this industry is unlike anything I've ever seen in 30 years of owning Miles Franklin, of being in the industry. There are some fascinating things happening right now on the Comex market that are changing the entire landscape. A couple of days ago was the largest amount of contracts that have ever stood for delivery on the Comex market. You're getting the family offices and the high net worth individuals and the big funds. They're pulling money off the exchange. What concerns me is the supply issue. Getting product is becoming difficult. Let's start with the United States Mint. A couple weeks ago, they had an announcement that they will not, for the next 18 months, make gold and silver at the same time due to social distancing guidelines at the Mint. So they'll pick and choose each month what to make. That is setting the stage for a massive problem, because the Royal Canadian Mint is more or less doing the exact same thing, focusing on gold and silver maple leafs, foregoing production in their other products. Our phones are ringing off the hook right now. And it's true, when the prices fall, largely in part to a greater education or a greater awareness that is permeated into the industry, people realize that that's a subsidy. People realize that this is an unusually good deal when you see the price fall by, $100+ in gold in just a few days and $4 or $5 in silver. These are big sell-offs, of course, but represent a subsidy. We are doing record business in this industry, not just Miles Franklin, the entire industry. I know what's going on wholesale-wise, and virtually none of it, a tiny, tiny fraction of it, Elijah, is actually people selling.
As the paper price falls, even though it is somewhat, if not completely and totally counterintuitive to what we would expect, the physical demand is stronger and stronger and stronger as the price falls more and more and more.
And this is what is fundamentally different this time, or this year. It is the massive accumulation and taking metal off of the exchange and out of harm's way, following suit, I believe, to a pattern
that we've seen for the last 4 years. And so I think it all follows a string of events that, have me believing that we haven't seen the end of some very significant moves in the precious metals market. When the most sophisticated traders on the globe start making changes that are fundamentally different like this, to me, I stand up and take notice.